Altamirano's game, Mark. One of the things we've noticed is that there's just a little bit more offense to complement his already really sound counter-punching style. What kind of your take on Altamirano developing a little more offense in his game?
He doesn't have a choice. I mean, that's, if you want to be a professional men's tennis player, you need weapons. I mean, there's a lot of guys that can play points. At some level, you have to be able to finish points. You have to be nice to yourself in terms of earning something free. 60 points, like I said before, is what it takes to probably win a two-set match. And obviously today, with a 3 out of 5, we're talking 85 to 95 points that we may end up having to win. So, you need to get some of them from big serves and from statement shots and from transition shots. So adding that has been important. And I think that Coach Joey Gilbert, has just told me that the bigger challenge in recent months is the mental, because he's had to deal with the expectations and what people expect of him more so. They've been consistently staying the course and trying to add things and do the work on this game, and hopefully that'll show. Talking to some of the coaches, Noah Rubin, they felt that he needs to play aggressive as well. So both of these guys know their way around the baseline, and they know how to be consistent in battle. But free points on the serve and making statements in terms of finishing will probably be the difference here.
Carolyn Binder alongside Hap Hosh and Mark Bay getting set to bring you the 18 singles final here, the championship culmination of 9 days of hard-fought tennis, and it'll be the 3 seed Noah Rubin facing off with the number 5 seed Collin Altamirano. And Hap, we watched Collin Altamirano yesterday in the 18 doubles, and he really struggled with his service game. It's always obviously important to be holding serve in a high-pressure situation such as a championship. What do you think he did yesterday to help overcome that challenge that he experienced yesterday?
Well, part of the different dynamic in doubles. Altamirano, when you look at him, his game is not typically suited to doubles. It's just not what he does. His serve won't become an issue today because of the singles dynamic. He will use massive slice and some topspin. He'll try to kick the ball to Rubin's backhand, but in doubles, the hugely dynamic serve of Altamirano's doubles partner, Deaton Baumann, is what stood out. And it was just an inability to actually dial up the kind of flat velocity that was needed. But in singles, Altamirano is going to be real solid with his service game.
Well, we'll see how that shakes out as Collin Altamirano will serve to open the match. $15 love. 15 love.
I think a little bit of nerves out of both players there. We had a kind of a loose ball from Noah Rubin and then a tight ball from Altamirano. They're going to get dialed in pretty quickly here, though.
15 all. $15-30.
All I can say is that we can put an over-under on how many balls we're going to see hit off the ground today. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say it's going to take 4,500 balls to win this match. I think when the push comes to shove, it's going to take a while.
30 all. So who's going to keep track of that? 4,500? You can count up that high, right?
I'm just going to hire a really smart local kid that got an A in math.
40-30.
One of the things I noticed about Altamirano is he doesn't really like to flatten out with his ground strokes. He hits heavy topspin on just about every ball. Mark Bay mentioned the stature of Noah Rubin. Do you see Altamirano trying to lift the strike zone at all on the shorter Rubin?
He's going to try, there's no doubt. But Rubin has really quick feet and exceptional on-the-rise timing. So, you know, it's something that they'll both do to one another as the course of this goes on. But I don't think it's not like it's a 12-year-old playing against a mature 14-year-old where it's really going to make a difference. These guys will just throw a bunch of body blows and jabs all day long. I'm more interested in seeing free points on the serve, transition at the net, and then who uses the crosswind better. Like right there, the wind's blowing out, you know, we talked about that in an earlier match. The wind right now is blowing Altamirano's left and the Rubin's right. So if Rubin can hit a cross-court backhand or an inside-out forehand from where he is, that would do more damage to Altamirano. And I just think that when you start getting into these endless rallies and someone has to win the game, being able to create openings and connect to that will be rather important for both players.
Hold opportunity here for Collin Altamirano.
See, there's the crosswind. But it's not the end of the world that he missed that. It's what's more important is he understands how much effort it takes to go for that particular shot and how much rotation he puts, you know, on his body and on the ball to make sure he actually executes that shot.
Got to ask about legs. This is every year, Mark, you've joined us, and we feature that this is a 3 out of 5 set match because that's what they play at the U.S. Open. What about the factor of legs in this thing between these two players?
I mean, I talked to both guys. Altamirano says, hey, you know, I'm ready to go all day. I talked to Rubin. He told me he ate about 15 eggs and 6 bananas. And I mean, like these guys, they don't care. They know what's at stake here, and you know, at some point it will matter. But I think that it's a combination, a psychological combination of the moment. You know, sometimes nerves and pressure factor into fatigue and cramping and things like that. So if we get to a point where fitness is an issue, I mean, I think it's a very fair day. High 70s, low 80s, so I mean, it's not super warm here. So I'm looking forward to seeing a grind. We haven't had a 5-setter in my memory of covering this event. We had a couple 4-setters, but a lot of 3-setters.
Is that a prediction?
I thought that we might get a 5-setter. I don't know if that's going to happen or not.
Noah Rubin served down 0-1 opening set.
It just seems like these guys are carbon copies of using the forehand to get position, using the forehand spin, hitting the backhand aggressively, and really sort of directing and punching with it as well. And it's almost like a stalemate here.
Oh! 15 love.
So that's the area that I was talking about. So any guy that's on the side right now where Collin is playing should be taking that inside-out forehand in that corner. That's where you'll get some pay dirt. You'll get some free points, some winners, some short balls. And so Noah missed the backhand to lose the last game going in that same area. So seeing how they handle that is important.
Rubin really left that ball short, though. Short ball sat up in the strike zone, and Altamirano fit it just inside the line to get himself ahead in this game. And I think short balls, how aggressive is Altamirano going to be when he generates short balls?
15-30. $40-30 now.
Get the feeling the wind pushed that ball from Altamirano a little bit. Heavy topspin, but it landed an inch or two long.
Noah Rubin holds, and Mark Bay is commenting, throughout the couple of matches that we've covered, it's not that he didn't break there, but he had a prime opportunity to break, and the fact is Noah Rubin got away with the hold.
Yeah, I'm going to really pay close attention to the length of the games. If one guy can hold easier than the other, sends the pressure back to the other side.
Love 15.
Come on, man. I got to ask about the strategy of Altamirano in his service game. He seems to be comfortable leaving balls on Rubin's forehand rather than trying to really keep the ball kicked out to the backhand. Do you see any issue with that?
I haven't really seen the matches that these guys have played. There was a 3-set match this year that they played in the future on clay, so it's a little bit of a different context. And without having seen how points finished today, to me, I think both guys have to prove it to one another. In a match like this, when they're going to be battling for so long, someone may have a great day on the backhand, and another guy may have a great day on the forehand, and as they make those statements, then they'll have to make adjustments to those statements. So with the 3 out of 5 and the amount of rallies these guys are going to have, it'll really sort of tell over time what's making the most sense.
Above 30.
See that guy? I like that play. That's just ridiculous defense from Rubin right there. That type of ability to negate the conditions and take a court position from the extreme place where he was and turn that defense into offense, that's an important statement in a match like this, because for sure Altamirano is going to try to knock him around, be physical, create openings, but if the openings are followed by a spectacular defense like that, then that will be back-breaking. And again, we have to remember the psyche. Altamirano is a defending champion, but is yet to beat Rubin in his career.
And a service break for the 3-seed Noah Rubin, now up 2-1 opening set, and the wheels really fell off quickly in that service game for Collin Altamirano.
Yeah, he's talking to himself back at the net, and he's telling himself, come on, man, relax. It's a 3 out of 5 match, but I'm sensing a little frustration in Altamirano early in this match. And I think Mark Bay's hit it on the nail, is that Noah Rubin is just flashing these incredible defensive skills, where in lesser players, Altamirano has got, the point. He's closed the point, but on Noah Rubin, the ball's back at him.
Noah Rubin, the 3 seed, with the early service break in this first set. Best 3 out of 5 here in this boys 18 singles national championship. Of course, the prize up for grabs, a U.S. Open wildcard bid to the main draw. And it's eluded Noah Rubin the last couple of years, just unable to get to this point. But now that he's here, he looks poised and ready to go.
Coach Mark Riley, that was kind of his comment when he's joined us up here, is that he sees maturity in Rubin, and he keeps saying, I think this is Noah Rubin's time. And it's subtle, but you sense it. There's no question about that.
Which usually Noah Rubin and subtle don't go together, but he's very talented, and he's just not been able to get to this point. And we've made the comments, Hap, throughout the week that the little things that used to creep in and bite him throughout the week just haven't been able to get him down. I mean, he's really been solid psychologically. And he serves now up 2-1, opening set.
I like that one. Nice play there. What I feel is the difference right now is Altamirano in that last point said, okay, I'm going to make some balls. He mentally put himself in a rally place. That's fine. But in doing so, the intensity of his feet dropped. Rubin kept his feet moving there. And the first opportunity ball that Rubin had there in his strike zone with a little time, he was able to change direction and produce. So over the course of the match, I'm going to watch to see how that plays into how that plays into it. See there, Altamirano did a nice job there. Rubin is, both guys are more like Western on the grips, and so if you can really run them hard to their forehands, that will be challenging for them. So right now, Altamirano, like he did that last point, should be looking to try to hit more cross-court forehands down this end. But really push Rubin. See there, he's got time, so he can do whatever he wants, but get him in trouble. There's the crosswind helping, and there's the net appearance. And there's the ball blowing wide, as you can see, the crosswind blowing to Altamirano's left and Rubin's right.
30-15.
Yeah, I describe Altamirano as sneaky quick. You take a look at him visually, and you think maybe not the quickest player, but he actually covers better than you might think at first glance.
See, that's good tennis by Rubin. So let's take a look at what he did there. He took the pace off the serve, and he said, oh, the crosswind's blowing that way, so I'm going to use my kicker to open up space, use his feet, jump on the next ball, use his hands to finish. So that's a nice combination, because, again, he's not 6'4" and serving like Isner or Query or Burditch. He's got to use wind and speed and impact points and court position. He's got to win in a lot of different ways. But see, like now, he's able to create space with a combination of the first 2 shots. He's actually being very thoughtful and executing it so far quite well, his little 1-2 combinations.
Easy hold for Noah Rubin on his second service game of the first set, and now he owns a 3-1 opening set lead over Collin Altamirano.
See there, I like Altamirano going into the body of Rubin. Abandon leaving the ball on the forehand side. Go into the body, use that kicker, try to raise the ball on the shorter Rubin.
$30.
In a match like this, there'll be a lot of ebbs and flows. There'll be a lot of back and forth. To me, Rubin now at 3-1. is only at one of the first checkpoints halfway through, a set. He's got to do this 9 more times, and I think that he has to be careful to not have any siestas, not have any points off, if you will. And it's hard, this is just a unique experience. It's the beauty and the history of this tournament to have these boys earn the wild card into the U.S. Open and play the match that they'll have to play in the U.S. Open for.
30-15.
And to pick up on Mark Bay's point, I mean, what we've seen of Rubin so far in both singles and doubles, he is not taking points off. He looks like he's really dialed in almost exclusively. I haven't seen him taking, these periods where he looks like he's lost his focus.
$40-30.
Early unforced error off the backhand side by Altamirano. You just get the sense there's a little more energy flowing through Noah Rubin right now.
Altamirano holds now 2-3 opening set. Still some struggles through that service game for the 5 seed.
Yeah, but he still ended up getting the game, and these guys don't get to this moment in these positions because, they come out and bomb serves and get a lot of free points. These guys get there because of hard work and discipline and fortitude, and a game like that helps Altamirano's psyche. It kind of gets him here. The competitor is always going to look at the scoreboard and say, I'm down 3-2, but if they've won the last game, then that's at least a more recent quiver, and a feather in their cap, and now he can build on that. He has something positive competitively that he's done now, and he's going to try to fight like a dog to break Rubin now and kind of get himself going. And the challenge of both of these guys is, can they play sets where they're holding 75-80% of the time? Or are we going to have a set that goes 6-4, but there's only 5 holds with there's 5 breaks? What type of tennis will happen in pure, simple holding and breaking terms in a match like this?
Carolyn Binder alongside Hap Hosh and Coach Mark Bay. Glad to have you with us for Championship Sunday here from George Acker Court, Stowe Stadium on the campus of Kalamazoo College on Public Media Network and USTAboys.com. Noah Rubin will serve now in the first set, up 3 games to 2.
Nice job there by Rubin. He keeps the court small. What I mean by that is he's taking things on the rise. He's standing right in there, and his sort of hand-eye coordination, we talk about things like that, but until you really see someone doing it well, do you really acknowledge how important it is and how useful it is? I mean, he's taking balls that a lot of people would give ground on or back up on, and he's seeing them and directing them and absorbing pace or accelerating all from the same spot in the court.
15 love.
See, like right there, he's not backing up. So as Altamirano is kind of split-stepping, he's wondering, which way's he going to go? And it's like, by the time he actually even has a sense of it, the ball's already by him with a short angle behind. So he's deceptive. He's quick. He has good sort of timing skills. I mean, there's a lot of things that he's doing that sometimes are hard to tell when you're watching on a screen like this. You just say, oh, it looks like he's a short grinder guy and he gets a lot of balls back. But no, there's a lot more to Rubin's game so far that I've been watching.
3 game points now for Noah Rubin, 40 love.
And he gets through a quick game, and that's just what the doctor ordered, because Altamirano took some positive from that last game and thought he could make a better dent here. And now, before you know it, Rubin is handing him the balls back, and that's what I meant before. Not just holding, but how long does it take you to hold? How much pain do you have to go through to advance the score in your name?
Collin Altamirano to serve now, down 2-4 opening set. Unbelievable wheels by Rubin, though, to get to that shot.
Well, that's twice on the same sequence.
Yeah.
Rubin has demonstrated the ability to do that, and I don't think that's going to change. Noah Rubin is going to dig out balls that other players wouldn't get to, and Altamirano's just got to believe that.
Love 15. Called good, 15-0.
It's a tough call. In that particular instance, the line umpire that was making that call was a little bit blocked by Rubin there. A little bit blocked there. That's some of the dynamics of the line crew.
Altamirano
15-30.
lost that last point, but I like the way he started the point. That's the serve I was talking about. Into the body of Rubin, forcing a neutral return. It actually allowed Altamirano to go on offense and dictate that point. He just didn't execute the last ball.
$15.40 and a couple of break points once again facing Collin Altamirano.
Altamirano really pressing. Haven't seen Altamirano this flustered.
No.
Maybe a little bit in that doubles match, but this is really interesting. That's the serve right there.
Yeah, I agree he's flustered, but again, this is a long race, so even winning a set here, I mean, it's a stanza. It's part of this conversation today. But what's more interesting to me is that Altamirano on the back end of the score, like being down, is not willing to extend the points. Like he's not willing to really make Rubin pay physically some price. Try to take some. He's overplaying the quality, and he's overplaying the wind, and he's obviously showing a lot more negative body language than clearly he showed a year ago, and I think it has a lot to do with the reputation and the history and the recent matches, and hopefully he will regroup, because right now he's setting the stage for a quicker day than I thought was going to really occur in a situation like this.
Early trouble for the defending champion and 5-seed Collin Altamirano. Service broken again, and now down 2-5 opening set to Noah Rubin. And contrastly on the other side of the court, talking about the psyche of Collin Altamirano and how those shots are shaking out. At this point, you're not going to break Noah Rubin. He's just rock solid.
Well, he's dialed in, and Mark Bay's comments about a 4,500 ball match. To pick up on Mark's point, if Collin Altamirano is trying to end points early within the first 5 balls,
yeah,
that's not his style of tennis. And I'm not sure he's got the arsenal to do that. And maybe this goes to Mark's point, is that Altamirano's got to be willing to grind, 10, 12, 15 balls. Is he willing to do that?
Is that just a lack of confidence in your game against a Noah Rubin type game?
I think that his game is his game, and making balls and competing is part of that, and he has to connect to that. I don't think that starting to check out of points and show a lot of negative body language is within his winning formula or his character. So this is just a little bit of handling the moment and being the defending champion, and now Rubin is here hungry for something like this, and it's fine. This is, again, just part of, my opinion, should be a long conversation of a match, but if he mentally does not handle it, and that was the thing Joey Gilbert told me. I said, Joey, what's the biggest part of this match? Is it forehand to backhand or backhand to forehand or whatever? And Joey just said, Mark, it's mental. And so far, I think Joey's comments are right. At this point, Rubin has done a little bit. He's dictated from early. He's organized his service game, and he's played some good defense, but not to the point where I would say Altamirano should be this rattled. He should accept the fact that he's playing a quality player and welcome that, and then bring his best tennis, because that's what this moment's about. Whoever plays the best tennis in this moment are the ones that are the most deserving for an opportunity to play Flushing Meadow.
Carolyn Binder alongside Mark Bay and Hap Hosh. Glad you're with us on Public Media Network and USTAboys.com. We've reached the pinnacle of the championship. It's the 18 singles championship here on Sunday from George Acker Court. A great crowd on hand, a nice sunny day, some breeze dictating the weather today, but perfect tennis conditions for this final championship here of the 72nd annual USTA Boys 18 and 16 National Championships. And it's the 3 seed Noah Rubin up 5-2 in the opening set over defending champion Collin Altamirano. And we talk about how rare it is to have a defending champion. I don't know if anybody's got the stats on it, when the last time a defending champion repeated here in Kalamazoo.
Jack Sock.
It's rare, but with it, yeah.
My only recollection is Jack
Sock. And beyond Jack Sock, anybody?
I think Jack was a 16 champion followed by an 18 champion.
Okay.
But an 18 and an 18 champion?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I can't place one.
So, I mean,
pull out the book. We'll get back to you on that stat, folks.
I stumped Mark Bay. Well, my job here is complete.
Noah Rubin with the same idiosyncrasies. He's had this tournament. He carries his lucky Roland Garros towel. He lays it out in front of him and lays his racket down next to it. And it's a very well-orchestrated ritual Noah Rubin goes through.
Noah Rubin now to serve for the opening set.
Nice job there, intentionally mixing that strike zone ball you talked about. And I think that ball connected to maybe a cross-court forehand would create a lot of damage on that side. And I think that was something that 16 champion Johnny McNally was able to do to Connor Hans today.
Interesting, Rubin taking a short ball, coming forward and pressing. But, Mark, I want to ask, are they playing with new balls infused into the match, in this match, as they do in a professional tournament, kind of that prep for the U.S. Open?
I'm sorry, you're asking me what about the new balls?
Are they infusing new balls into the match just as they would in the U.S. Open, trying to simulate as much as possible the U.S. Open experience?
Yeah, they're using the ball changes there. Great passing shot by Altamirano. He needed to make a statement there because Rubin's starting to take the net away from him. They are changing every 7 and 9. So they just changed after 7, and as of 3 out of 5 set match goes. It changed at 7, then after 9, which is 16 games, it changed after another 9 at 25, and then every successive 9 games is the ball change order, and they will use that today, just like a men's 3 out of 5 set match.
Carolyn, I point that out because that's different than any other match in this tournament.
Right.
It's the infusion of new balls into a match in progress.
And a double fault for Noah Rubin. A couple of break points here for Collin Altamirano.
Yeah, it's just good tennis. Good pressure, not overdoing it, understanding where that winning lane is, which is through that backhand corner on that side. He's committed to it. He understands it. The moment he hit the ball that he liked, he was very quick with his feet, and you can see how easy the volley is if you actually are penetrating to an area where you're going to get help, particularly from your shot, the wind, the new balls. I mean, just a lot of help going there. And he was above net level, finishing without Altamirano having a response. So, well played, point down, break point.
30-40. Altamirano gets a service break back.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, I'm not trying to jinx Rubin or prophesize anything, but my point is that these guys have made a living off of doing exactly that to tons of people. Being the guy that doesn't allow someone to close it out. And so with, neither guy having, a big service game, now Rubin there facing 6-2 opportunity to close out that set and put some stamp on this match was broken. And so that becomes the challenge as this goes back and forth. When one guy has an opportunity, can he really close the door on his service game relative to the competitive, counterattacking, steady skills of the other guy?
Altamirano painting the sideline there.
By breaking there, Altamirano has kind of shut his mouth a little bit, been more calm. But B can stick out his chest because even though he's still down 3-5, he's done something competitive, in a moment where Rubin obviously wanted to get that done. And the more messages you can send to the opponent that, you're going to be, much tougher to close will be important for this type of 3 out of 5 set duel.
15 left.
So that's what I mean by letting the wind work for you. So he didn't do much with that ball. He just kind of rotated and rolled it, and after it bounced, the wind took it another 6 feet wide, and then Rubin's got to run out there, get his feet behind him, and make a decision. Whoa, I'm way outside the court. What am I going to do? And sometimes you overplay that shot because you're paranoid about how much court you're giving up. You overplay there. And that's why you have to organize the court around the way the conditions are playing.
40 love now.
Rubin looking at the line.
A big momentum shift again because Altamirano not only broke him, but now he's getting a quick service game, which is something he hasn't had all match.
Help! 40-15.
One of the things I'm going to look for is Altamirano, when he gets Rubin extended in the corner, will he follow that shot into the net and look for that easy volley you were talking about?
Sometimes. I don't think he will be as forthcoming or forward-moving as Rubin will, but I think he'll have to. Great return. And the reason why is, since the crosswind is blowing the other direction, you can just rotate and just hit the crap out of the ball in the other direction, and it probably won't go wide. So you can get some help one way, and you can really hit it big the other way. And that's how you get to be really good off the ground. You start playing east-west well.
40-30 now.
Mark, I've talked about the importance of this situation where Altamirano trying to hold here so that he doesn't give a set to Rubin and let Rubin open up the second set on his own serve. And this has happened throughout the tournament where this has become a critical service hold for one player.
But to me, the bigger issue is that was game point for Altamirano, and the depth on his forehand dropped a lot. I mean, that looked like a boy's 14 point where he was tight. You know, he's got to be able to still keep enough quality going. He can't allow Rubin to just dictate on a short ball like that easily when the point matters that much for him. And obviously he's corrected himself here. He's hitting the ball with a lot more passion, much more depth right now. Yeah, this is a much better point for Altamirano. That's the way he needs to play. But clearly on his game point, he played, like a nervous Nelly and backed off and didn't do anything, and that's what you get. Somebody steps up and pops you one.
The quick service game gone for Altamirano, but a chance here to hold, and a crucial hold, down 3-5 opening set.
We appreciate the comment, Mark. Those of us that have played like a nervous Nelly many times.
It's part of the sport, man. Everybody feels that.
And after a struggle, Collin Altamirano will hold, stays in the set, down 4-5 in the first, but more importantly, he didn't just give that set away to Noah Rubin.
And I'm going to go back to that point because, with high school players, we talk about this all the time, the importance of that game. Even if you don't win the set, do not give the set to your opponent on your own serve. When I play in a much older age group, that's one of the places where you actually bulldog really hard, and you tell yourself, I am not going to give you the set on my serve. You're going to have to earn it. And that's kind of a hunkered down bulldog mentality. And I think what Mark has touched on it, they both possess this.
Yeah.
And I think, again, I appreciate Mark's insight here, ebb and flow. I mean, already this first set has had some nuances of ebb and flow between the two players that will manifest themselves maybe throughout 5 sets.
Carolyn Binder alongside Hap Hosh and Coach Mark Bay bringing you the culmination of the 72nd USTA Boys 18 and 16 National Championships, the 18 Singles Championship, and up for grabs a bid into the U.S. Open main draw, a wild card up for bids, and Noah Rubin just has shown complete poise, complete composure through this whole week. He's had disappointments here in Kalamazoo on George Jacker Court, and here today he is rock solid. But credit to Altamirano, there was a distinct point in this match that this first set could have got away from him in an instant, and he's still in it.
Yeah, I agree, but going back to Rubin, Rubin has been solid throughout. He really hasn't melted down at any point.
All right, Noah Rubin, let's see what he comes up with here. He goes out wide, opens up an opportunity, uses his on-the-rise ability, and now, again, instead of being upset, where Altamirano got down 5-2 and he showed a lot of negative body language, Rubin just goes through his ritual, lays his towel down, gets himself ready, comes out, and again, on the speed gun, that serve was not even 85 miles an hour. He just used the wind, opened up some space, and hit to some space. And you know what? On a big point, that feels really good. It's so helpful. Now look what he's doing now. Opening up some more space and going back behind, and then here's the sneak. So again, he's using his brain right now, not using his brawn. He has not hit a ball over 90 miles an hour yet, and he's already up 30 love. And that's what you need to do sometimes when you're in a closeout situation. You got to just draw from any tool or any leverage you have out there as a player. To your point, Hap, these guys are such competitors. I don't think they have that mentality. I think that somebody like Martina Navratilova, who was served and volleyed and had to hold serve, would appreciate more of try to break so you can start the next. I don't think a lot of these competitive juniors sometimes are even anywhere near that. They just want the set. they want it bad, and then once they sit down, they start thinking about the second one. The whole finish one and get off to a lead in the other one, that forward thinking is good, but right now, the difference is Noah Rubin's won 2 service games very easily where he's used a very slow kicker and slice serve to open up space and give himself a much better target, and credit to him for, handling the backside of that momentum but still having the perseverance to get that set done. And now here he comes with his ritual. Towel goes down.
An easy service hold for Noah Rubin, and the first set to the 3 seed out of Rockville Center, New York, 6-4 over the defending champion and 5 seed from Sacramento, California, Collin Altamirano. And it just doesn't get much easier than that to close out a set. And I think, kind of going back to both of your points throughout this first set about Noah Rubin, the biggest difference that I see in developmentally over the last few years watching him is he would come out of the gate 100 miles an hour, 100, and just, pedal to the metal the entire time. And the opponents later in, second sets and such, seeing that opening and taking advantage of that. This time it's almost like he's paced himself and not forcing things as much to get where he is.
He's got to go 5 sets.
Well, yeah.
Possible.
Yeah, well, I got to get back to you on that history note we talked about before.
Yes.
2-time champions that Altamirano's chasing. Well, in the boys' 16s, we don't seem to have much going on for 40 or 50 years that way. There was a young man named Robert Falkenberg back in the 40s that got it done in 40 and 41, and Vincent Richards in 1917 and 18. So on the boys' 16s, and we haven't had it much, but on the boys' 18, we've had it quite often, believe it or not. And our most recently, Hap was right, Jack Sock, 2010-2011. Then we go back to Donald Young, 2005-2006. Okay. Then we go back to Philip King, who was top 300 in the world, played for Duke, 1999-2000. Then we go to the magic one, Paul Goldstein, new head coach at Stanford. Congratulations, Paul. 1993-94 for Goldie. So, there's been quite a bit of that. Then Falkenberg got it done back in 43 and 44. So Falkenberg won 4 of these in a row. Yeah. 4 of these in a row. So there's been some history here, but definitely the 18 and under champions back-to-back, Sock, Young, and King, and Goldstein, all guys that have done quite well on the ATP Tour.
Mark?
I'm going to say this. We need to get Falkenberg's picture up on the wall.
No kidding. When are we going to name a court over here for Falkenberg? Mark Bay throwing down some history here in the media tower, and Collin Altamirano will serve to start the second set.
Love 15.
And yeah, down love 15. On a double fault, yeah. Love 30. $15.30.
Interesting. Altamirano playing mostly middle third of the court on that point. Really just playing for an error. And neither player trying to open up the court very much.
Well done. And that's the first time that, speaking to your point, Hap, that Altamirano strung together a couple of quality down the line shots where he was on offense, and then he looked to be opportunistic and try to sneak in. And I think that maybe he's monkey see, monkey do, and taking a page out of Rubin's book and shortening up the court and trying to create some of that offense himself.
30 all.
He's got to serve better than.
.30-40, an early break opportunity here for Noah Rubin.
The ball seems to be jumping off Noah Rubin's racket on the backhand side. I mean, it's really penetrating.
Well done. That's the type of ball that I think that Coach Joey Gilbert wants to see from him. And I looked over at Joey, he started clapping his hands there, responding, because that's a ball that's well within Altamirano's ability. You know, a very hard-hit, quality ball that has a combination of drive and spin on it that goes through the sidelines. That's quality aggression that he'll need.
Break point once again for Noah Rubin.
Yeah, well, what that is Noah Rubin has outstanding racket skills on the backhand return. He can handle hard balls, wide balls, kickball. He can adjust. He can hit it up the line. He can hit it hard middle. That time he hit it sharp cross. He has a tremendous amount of variety on a pretty simple, blocking return type of shot. He can do a lot of things off of it. And again, there's a fair amount of disguise in what Rubin is doing, and the disguise is well worth miles per hour in a sport like tennis.
What about the decision-making of Altamirano trying to go for a backhand drop shot in that kind of court positioning?
I wasn't speaking positively about that shot choice. That one on game point, he got what he deserved there. So now, after losing the set, he's got to do some soul searching here.
What we've noticed is that a lot of people have tried to drop shot Noah Rubin, and Rubin digs them out. I mean, it's not easy to hit a successful drop shot against Noah Rubin.
Up in service break, Noah Rubin with his first service game here in the second set, up 1-0.
This could get away from Altamirano very quickly. Interesting, two slice backhands from Altamirano to start that point.
Yeah, just what? But that's the type of ball he needs to hit. I mean, to me, that's a good mistake. Now, my feeling is that he should have already gotten the range on that shot by now. We shouldn't be 11 games in and he's still trying to locate that ball. That's a good mistake for the second or third game of the match. Right now, that's an area of the court that he needs to own if he wants to win more games down on that end. He should dominate the forehand cross court on that particular side.
30-15.
heavy ball there.
Well, deep middle returns, they just work. You go watch the best guys in the world, and it doesn't get old. You watch Joker, you watch Fed, you watch Murray. You see how many times they just take a routine serve and they go hard, middle, neutralizing return and make the guy have to create off of it. It doesn't get old. They don't try all these other fancy dance shots. Very rarely.
30 all.
What I like about what I'm seeing from Rubin is, so there he decided to mix in the heater. He's been going more spin than heater, so he's been saving himself. And so every now and then he will have the opportunity to go bigger and actually execute that. The other thing I like is that athletically, Rubin's getting up after his toss. He's projecting upward to the service toss. I feel like Altamirano is letting his service toss drop a little low, so he's losing some offensive options and locations that he could have in the box. And right now, we talked about who is going to hold easier and be more convincing, and it's been Rubin, but it's not been because of 130-mile-an-hour serves. It's been because of serve percentages and core position and some timely net appearance sneaking.
Noah Rubin consolidates on the service break to start the second set, up 2-0 now. On Collin Altamirano, Carolyn Binder alongside Mark Bay and Hap Hosh. Glad you're with us on Public Media Network locally in Kalamazoo and around the world on USTAboys.com. High above George Ackers Court, Stowe Stadium on the campus of Kalamazoo College. Collin Altamirano serving down 0-2, second set.
Nope. It's getting away.
Love 15.
Altamirano moving forward.
He's going to have to. He's going to have to. At this point right now, he either needs to upgrade the level of his ground stroke game to put more pressure on Rubin, or he's going to have to come forward a little bit, because so far what he's brought to the table has not been good enough.
30-15. Chair umpire overruled the line judge there, calling it out.
I concur with the chair umpire.
40-15. Altamirano holds. Now 1-2, second set, and a little easier that time to hold the serve for Collin Altamirano. Carolyn Binder alongside Hap Hosh and Coach Mark Bay. Glad you're with us from Stowe Stadium, high atop George Acker Court on the campus of Kalamazoo College. The culmination of 10 days of hard work by everybody involved here, including the field. And it's the 3-seed Noah Rubin up a set and up 2-1 in the second.
I kind of want to pick up on Coach Bay's comment about Altamirano having to change something tactically here. It can't be easy to, quote-unquote, upgrade the level of your ground strokes in the middle of a match when you're already an accomplished baseline ground stroker. So maybe the opportunity is to make good choices. And you called it earlier, like actually kind of mimicking a little bit of what Noah Rubin did. recognizing opportunities, smart opportunities to move forward to the net and create an easy volley for yourself.
Yeah, but I can't say that in his career he's won a ton of matches with volley creation moments. And so you win with what's gotten you here, and so he's going to have to fight and grind, and he's capable of hitting the ground. He's better than he's hitting. So I think that's within his ability right now. To say he's going to completely change the dynamic and be at the net more, that's different. But there's Noah Rubin again with an 85-mile-an-hour slice serve out wide, and he's winning on that. To me, that's the most significant aspect here. He's activating the crosswind with low speed but high percentages and earning points that way.
15 love.
I mean, both of the guys definitely are Western grip forehand guys, so they're going to hit heavy. They're going to hit inside out really well. They're going to struggle a little bit if you can really chip them low or really pull them wide. But, nowadays these guys all just crush the balls, Luxilon strings, and hit big inside-out forehands. And so, like right there, he handles that really well. To say that he didn't hit that ball, well, he hit that ball fine. He took it on an open stance footwork, had the option to go either way, so he kind of froze Altamirano. And I just think that the speed and the vision of Rubin, the ability to sort of defend balls, is at a higher level than Altamirano. So if Altamirano gets him in trouble, I think Rubin can get it back to neutral a lot easier. But still, Rubin here is in another service game, making a lot of first serves, and it's collective pressure. So there's a code violation and the game, and so that is not the time to do something like that, and it's a poor handling so far of today's match in the moment, and Altamirano really, after losing a set like that, just has to understand that this is supposed to be a long race. You don't allow it to be a short race. The experience here coming in, you've got Rubin 588 ATP, Altamirano 846 ATP. So these guys have been playing. Obviously Rubin's done better. Rubin winning that Wimbledon title is a big moment in his career. So a couple of future titles, a couple of future finals rather, and a Wimbledon title for the man from New York and the guy from California. He's done a nice job, but the semis of the Bakersfield future is the best that he's done. But coming in here, his coaches felt like he's played 25 or 30 high-quality singles matches, so he's had enough of a varied experience. It's always a little hard at this age because you start sort of having this, I'm too good to play juniors, but now what do you play? And so am I playing challengers and losing first round? Am I playing futures and trying to get out, lots of rounds? What exactly makes up my experience in match count? So I come in here with enough tennis under my belt that I do make good decisions and handle a 3 out of 5 set, handle an 11-day Kalamazoo where you have to play through 7 matches in a quality field. And there's another defense situation where he's got the wheels, and now you've got a sort of an approacher that's not 100% emotionally committed to the cause. He was a little in between there.
Altamirano had an opportunity to move forward and make that an easy point, and he hesitated, and there you go, you lose the point.
Yeah, but then again, he let some of those balls drop, and he resets points a lot. So he has to make sure. But to me, that this is the bigger deal, the fact that the contact point on the service toss is a little low. So when he's trying to really do the offensive serves, he's having a difficult time locating that.
Love 40 now.
Altamirano has got a verbal commitment to University of Virginia. Noah Rubin has got a commitment to Wake Forest. These guys could be playing each other in the ACC. Yeah, this could be a college tennis match.
Game Rubin.
And after dropping the last game on a code violation, Altamirano broken serve, and now 4 games to 1.
But good hand-eye coordination, there from Rubin, and talking to his dad, Eric Rubin, who's started him out and was his first coach, did an excellent job. Eric said that when he was 6 months, he put a ball on a string and gave him a little baby racket and started him off hitting. So, this guy's been hitting tennis balls for quite some time. He's been hitting for 17 and a half years already at age 18 out here, competing for this. So that makes a big difference. And I think that, you always hear the phrase, it takes a village. But in talking to the guys this morning, Coach Lawrence Kliger has been with him for 10 years. And obviously there's been a lot of people that have been involved. The John McEnroe Tennis Academy is where he trains. He also does a lot of hitting at Sport Time as well. So, the whole city of New York is really helping, raise, Noah Rubin and take part in the success that he's had up to this point. And hopefully, will allow him to be a champion here today in singles. Obviously, we know he won yesterday with Kozlov in dominating fashion in the doubles, but he really wants to get both of these today. He's hungry for it, and I think already he's made a lot of the right statements that he needs to make in a match like this. And I don't think that, the funny thing is, I don't think that Rubin's even played well. I just think he's played smart. I think he's just done what he's needed to do. Sometimes it's not always about, you're not going to always play your true best. To me, your best is one day. To me, how good is your average day? And what kind of decisions can you make in pressure moments? And right now, there's another free point with him starting off a ton of games where he's making first serves, and that's winning tennis.
Noah Rubin serving 15 love, up 4-1 second set and up a set on Collin Altamirano. Now 30 love.
And again, like I said before, that's a good play. That's a good area for Altamirano to go with that ball. But right now the execution is so low on obvious plays. He needs those balls, and they're not there for him.
I like the targeting. It can't be 3 feet beyond the target.
Great return. When I watched Collin last year, I likened him a lot to what I saw from David Nalbandian when I saw him. I saw Nalbandian when he was really one of the top juniors in the world, playing the Sunshine Cup in the Orange Bowl, and Federer beat him in the semis, and then Federer went on to win that tournament, beating Coria. But watching Nalbandian, who hadn't lost a match, and he was just an amazing guy. He just got the point started, hit the forehand heavy, didn't try to hit winners on it. He had more winners on his down the line backhand than anything, but he was just a bull. It was just, he didn't miss, he didn't give you anything, you dealt with getting into a mud pit with a guy that was just not going to let you go. And that's sort of what I liked about Collin last year and his run to the title as an unseed. But today, as a defending guy, he's carrying a lot of expectation, and he's not been able to, his quality's not matched the expectation.
30 all.
You think he misses the underdog role?
I think he's worked his butt off, and I think he's in the national final. I don't think he's handling the national final that well.
30-40 now, a break chance for Collin Altamirano.
Pretty tough. Felt a little wide to me, and the crosswind is blowing that way, which means that it could have just gone wide. His corner is all up there watching. It's hard to tell there. That's an overrule from the far sideline by the chair, so he must have been really sure that it touched.
Deuce.
Big moment there. big shot. And that's where you're going to get some help. I mean, I think playing the forehands into that corner is good, but it's just one of the few times where he's been able to execute and have, the quality of his shot with a little bit of Mother Nature help all coming together for 1 point.
Break point again, facing Noah Rubin.
Tough shot. And you might say that was a little risky, but he got there quickly. His feet were set. He had a half a second of time. He didn't have a lot of space to thread that needle, but clearly it's a good shot from him. He can do a lot of this backhand, and if you move well and you get the ball in the right strike zone, you earn the right to go up the line. And now here comes another first serve because he's done such a nice job with the spin serves that now he's opening up his serve arsenal now mid-match, and he's starting to get free points on the serve and short balls and time. And it's just been a magnificent set of baseball pitching as it relates to his choices on the serving. And now he goes for the off-speed kicker. Instead of going big to get out of the game quickly, a lot of guys, I can't even tell you, I know it sounds like I'm harping on it, but I watch a lot of junior tennis people. So many times the player gets that game point right there and they go bomb, miss it, and then they go in and they get into a baseline rally, possibly miss it, go back to deuce. He is out of that game, and right now that 5-1, the chances of 4-2, Altamirano still got a chance to turn that set around. Now we're going 1-5 with new balls. I wouldn't be betting on Altamirano in this set right now. So he almost really, just from a couple of serve choices, maybe have guaranteed himself a 2-set-to-love lead.
Collin Altamirano now serving down 1-5, second set.
And my problem with Altamirano right now is that the scoreboard is written on his face and was written in the energy of that backhand. He's frustrated beyond compare, and he's not happy, and I understand why. But we still got a lot more tennis to play. You have to find some way to motivate yourself. And maybe right now you almost disconnect from the scoreboard and just start playing loose. Find yourself out there a little bit. But do that before the third set starts. Don't just kind of let this last game go away. Because similar to your comment, Hap, I think that this is a scenario where you would want to make Rubin serve it out.
15 all.
He wasn't able to do that at 5-2 in the first.
I'm not sure I'm seeing it in Altamirano. I hate to say it, but it almost looks like he's checked out.
I like that, sir.
30-15.
Rather than going wide with that thing to Rubin's front, take him to the bottom.
That's rare, though. Rubin has still been rather stingy today. There's not a lot of free points coming, no matter what Altamirano has done serving-wise. To me, he's chasing a low toss in pursuit of greatness on the serve, and that's just difficult to get.
$40-15 now. $40-30.
Rubin would have got there.
Yeah.
Rubin would have covered that.
Yeah, there's nothing about the way this match has evolved that says that the drop shot play makes a lot of sense. I mean, unless Rubin, for whatever reason, is really deep in the court, which I never see from him. He plays from a much tighter court position than I thought. And he's been successful at the net, and he's obviously rather quick of foot. So I don't really get the drop shot choice right now.
Collin Altamirano holds to stay in the set, down 2-5 though, and a tough hill to climb here for the 5 seed, Collin Altamirano. A mountain, absolutely.
Well, he needs some help. He needs Noah Rubin to get complacent or satisfied with the position that he's in. But right now, I have no reason to believe that he's going to change. Just like he's not changing his ritual with his towel and his racket, I don't think he's going to change the way he's behaving and competing in this match. So we'll obviously stay tuned, because that's the way junior tennis works. You know, it's never over till it's over. But right now, Noah Rubin's just doing a lot of good things, and it's well-deserved the position that he has in this final, and we'll see how he continues.
Carolyn Binder alongside Hap Hosh and Coach Mark Bay, proud to bring you Championship Sunday from the USTA Boys 18 and 16 Nats at the Zoo, high atop George Acker Court at Stowe Stadium on the campus of Kalamazoo College. And it's Noah Rubin with a 6-4 first set, and now up 5-2 in the second set. The 3 seed just a couple of sets away from his first ever national championship, and we've noted it all week long, Hap, that the rituals and the whole thing just seems to be working for him this year. Just the concentration razor sharp for Noah Rubin.
Yeah, this is different this year for Noah Rubin. A lot more interaction with cheer umpires last year, a lot. Less so this year, and I've actually seen instances where Rubin's been right on a call, and he's walked away and just gotten himself ready to play the next point. Yeah. To me, that's growth.
We're live on Public Media Network and USTAboys.com. Noah Rubin serving now for the second set.
And another first serve.
Talk about that return, though.
Well, Altamirano finally got over there, because it's been the same serve over and over and over again. And as someone gets 5 and they're trying to close it out, they're for sure going to try to pick a choice that favors them. So good by Altamirano to have neutralized that and drawn the error now. So with Rubin struggling at the 5-2 game, now here he is quickly at love 15 second serve. So there's a bit of a momentum shift again in Rubin's closeout game. There's the wind help. That's where you want to go. Here he comes. Just long.
Altamirano got lucky. He had Rubin stretched out. He was going to get a floater, and he got caught one step forward and then dropped back. He ended up winning the point. I want to talk about that return. He also put some air under that ball. That wide serve. Basically, he put enough air to give himself room to recover.
Love 30.
Yeah, so that right there, I never use the word talent. I just try to stay away from that word. I don't think it's a great word. I think it's one of the most overused words in our sport. But that took some talent right there, folks, because he just took a second serve and just carved it hard, really hit it low, and took the next ball on the rise and just created a lot of space. And it was a great 1-2 combo that you often see on someone's first serve, but on the second serve to be able to do that and do it at love 30 was rather significant. So he's played too much second serve tennis this game, and now Altamirano is starting to open up and take his shots, as he should, because again, the serve speed has never been, all match long. It's been a lot of kickers and things, but Altamirano has not done the best job of reading the distance on the balls and adjusting based on what he's getting.
2 break points now facing Noah Rubin, and Altamirano getting the service break.
And there it is. And so now you've had 2 times in a row where Rubin's had 5 and not been able to close the door as a server. And later on, who knows, maybe that makes a difference. At this point, Altamirano is spotting him such substantial leads that it's just difficult to overcome what he's giving on the scoreboard before he starts mounting these little comebacks.
Collin Altamirano to serve and stay in the second set. Down 3-5.
Yeah, and I think that one of the small things that you can always do is start off every new game, winning that first point. It just psychologically helps. It changes a lot of the thought process in your opponent's mind. Already you can see Rubin a little bit more uneasy now. It's too good.
Fifteen-all.
I started playing tennis. My aunt that started me in the sport, Aunt Ida, she's, I don't know if she's watching today, but she will appreciate that. She always told me that there's no substitute for speed in athletics. You need to have that, and that's something that Rubin has. Well, the ability to run and move. You need that in our sport.
Effort, a little bit.
And that draws an error like that because Altamirano is thinking, well, I need to thread the needle here. I need to hit it better than expectation. I need to really hit it well instead of just working for placement. I mean, when you're in pursuit of winners, per se, I think your unforced error counts, go up high.
15-30.
I like how Rubin's going to the towel now. Really making sure. Well, you have to play at the pace of the service. You can't stall, but he's just making sure, hey, you know what? I had 5-2, didn't close out in the first. Had 5-2 in the second, didn't close out. Okay, I got a shot here to get this set done. Let me make sure I keep my thinking cap on and get this one over.
2 break points now facing Collin Altamirano.
Too good.
Comes up with a couple of big shots there, does the 5 seed.
But Rubin had a little bit of a taste of the Altamirano bug we talked about a couple games ago when Altamirano was backing off and not doing anything, not getting any depth on the ball. Rubin just hit the ball too short there. You deserve to get that. You're leaving balls at the service line at this level.
Two break points fought off to deuce.
Or I'm just being, very insistent.